But I'm so excited for you guys to hear from Rose tonight. So quick background on Rose, and I'm sure she'll share more of her story with you guys. But she became a coach, what's like 6 months ago-ish? Yeah. I thought it was about 6 months. She became a coach. She was a discount coach for a little bit. And then one day she texted me and was like, Caroline, I'm ready to do this thing. And I'm not even kidding you guys. Like the next month she was a diamond coach, or maybe 2 months later, but it was super, super quick. And she's incredible. And it's not even about the fact that like she hit diamond so quickly, but just about her heart. She's done this business very differently than a lot of us have seen it done. Honestly, pretty much the opposite of how I've built my business. And I think a lot of times it's easy for you guys to look at me or, your upline and think, oh, I have to do it just how they did it. And one of my favorite things about Rose is that she literally like grabbed the bull by the horns and was like, I'm going to do this thing. But she did it the way that God had called her to do. And she did it the way that made sense in her life. And so I'm excited for you guys to hear from her tonight. I know it's going to be an incredible call. And Rose, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, Caroline. I am so excited that I get to talk to all of you today, and I'm really excited to share my story, and I really hope that whatever I will be sharing today, that will be a blessing and encouragement for any one of you who needs some encouragement or a blessing. I am Rose, as she said, just a little bit to understand why you may hear an accent. My family is German, but I grew up in South America, in Paraguay. My grandparents moved there to be farmers, and so my whole family grew up there. So German is my first language, Spanish is my second, and I learned English about 7 years ago. I came to America with no English 7 years ago. And I am a coach. And as Caroline said, I became a coach 6 months ago, but that's actually not the whole story. And I really want to tell you the beginning because I think it's really crucial for me to communicate the beginning in order for you to understand the rest. I actually signed up as a coach. It's actually a year. In August 2018, I signed up as a coach. Caroline was going to do again a challenge group, and I just really, really wanted to do more with her. And I texted her and said, hey, can I be part of this challenge group? And she sent me some information, and I was like, hey, I already have all this. Do I have to do this again? And she said, well, how about you become a coach? And I'm like, sure, why not? And I didn't talk to my husband about it before. I was like, he's going to be cool. We're going to be fine. And so as I talked to him about it and I'm about to sign up, he is very on the fence, like very. He actually, and I asked him if I can share this with you guys. And so actually when I was first signing up as a coach, he was on the couch, mad, and not supportive at all. And he's like, this is not going to be good. You will not be able to do this. It's going to be complicated. So I am here on a student visa. And so the way how we can work legally is always a little bit complicated. And I have only so many years in America. I always go from time to time. So everything is complicated. And so he said, this is just more drama. Don't do this. And so I actually had to text Caroline and say, hey, Caroline, I'm going to have to wait to some legal stuff. I didn't tell her the whole thing about Daniel. I just said, hey, this is not a good time. And so she texted back, how much time? I'm like, yeah, until my husband comes around. No idea. And so that took quite some months. So that was August. And then in December was when I talked to him. I talked to him constantly about it and prayed about it and just asked the Lord just to have him come around. And in December, just a quick shift happened, and he said, okay, if you really want to do this, go ahead and do this. And so that's when I then really jumped in and I really started to do something with the business. But there already had been 6 months where I had been a discount coach, but I hadn't really done anything, nor had I done the workouts or anything. And actually also, just you guys, I am one of those challengers with Caroline. I was present one time in her group. Like the first challenge group I did with her, I was present one single time. I just filled out the first question that she posed, like to tell some stuff about yourself, and then I never came again. So if you have one of those challengers, please don't be too discouraged. They might be amazing. Just wait. So what happened for me personally when I signed up as a coach that actually made a shift to actually do something for the business, with the business. So one thing definitely was the fact that Daniel said, okay, if you really want to, you can start doing something with it. But on the other hand, there also had to happen a lot of shift for me personally, because I have watched Caroline since she first started. Like, I remember when she was on 40 likes. So you know where she's at now, and not that likes matter on how you grow your business, but I remember her, like her selfies. I remember all of that. And so I have watched her. I have watched how she does it, and how she has built this amazing community, online community. And I come from a very different background. I come from a very different culture and also age background, where the whole social media, my whole culture is not so much on social media, like Instagram. That's not where people hang out. And also my friends, they don't really can do Beachbody because they are not in America. And so, as I said, I was going to start to do this business. I had to think about, what am I going to do to actually make this work? Because Caroline does it amazing. But is that what I can do? Is that, am I part of, can I do exactly what she does, or do I have to do something different? And that took some time until I was able to figure it out, because I actually wanted to be this mini copy of Caroline, and which is why I chose the topic for today: how to work in your sweet spot, and how you can become diamond working in your sweet spot, because I really struggled to find my own sweet spot. And as I was starting to talk to people about this, I decided I will do it through Instagram, but I noticed very early on that was maybe not going to be the place where I would get my first have my first challenge pack sold. And so Caroline tends to talk about it, that for some people, the family relationships, those are that's your warm market. But that was not my warm market either, because I don't have family here, and the family that I have, they are not here, and they're very extended, so they would probably not be my warm market, I thought. And so I started to offer it in the place where I work. So where do I work? I have gone through school to become a mental health therapist, and during my time in school, I met a really amazing boss, and he offered me a job that could be accommodated to my school. And my job consists of creating a women's ministry with people in a orange packing house. And the people who work in the orange packing house, they're all immigrant people, mostly from Mexico or Guatemala or somewhere middle America. So they're all Spanish speaking people. And he said to me, Rose, I'll give this to you. Your only job is to make Bible studies with them, and then whatever you want to do from that. So that thing, he gave that to me about 5 years ago, and that has grown tremendously. My first meeting, we had 5 ladies who came to my meeting. We are now over 200 ladies who come to my meeting every week and are part of the whole ministry. We do Bible studies, classes. I do a psychology class because I just love psychology so much. And then the main events. And I thought, okay, these people, they have been with me for 5 years. They know me. They know my heart. I'm going to start offering it to them. And of course, like maybe a lot of us think, I thought, okay, this is going to be way too expensive. They're never going to do this. This is never going to work. But okay, what can I lose if I just start offering it to them? And so I started offering it to them, and I was really, really surprised by their reaction to it. Yes, the price was high for some of them, but I noticed for most people, it was not so much how much they were going to pay. It was the fact that the time that they were going to have with me, this intensive time of working out, of mentorship, of just being together. And if we all just take a second and think about, why did we sign up with Caroline? And I know you kind of talked to me, but I just give you some time right now. So why did we all sign up with Caroline? Or maybe you are here and you signed up with Aaron, or you signed up with Courtney or Shay or whoever. We all have a reason why we signed up with that specific coaches. There are lots of coaches out there that we can sign up, but we all chose the coach that we chose for a specific reason. And I actually, when I meet people who are on Caroline's team, I love to ask them, why did you sign up with Caroline? What did Caroline show to you, give to you, or provide for you why you decided to sign up with her? And I always get the same response. And it's actually the same reason why I signed up with her. It's the fact that she has such a nice way of providing the connection with the fitness, health, and your spiritual life. She provides it and she brings it over in such a nice way that you read it and you already feel so much healthier. At least that's how I feel when I read her posts. And that's what draws a lot of people to Caroline. And so there were certain things what drew people to me from the ministry. And I was really surprised because I did not expect it, especially because of the money that they have to pay. So from there, then, to explain to you a little further, I'm talking about people who do not have Instagram. I'm talking about people who, most of them, they do not have an email. I'm talking about people who barely know how to use a credit card. I'm talking about people that know how to work really, really hard, and they will put in everything to work hard. And if they have a goal, they'll reach the goal. So here I was with all these people. I wanted to do Beachbody, but they don't have an email. They don't have, like, there were so many things I didn't have. And so I went to Daniel. I said, Daniel, how can we create just a bunch of emails that are different, but that I can help, that I can manage and help them to sign up? And so Daniel helped me with that. And I think there are no, so if you are going to try, you want to sign up with Hotmail, don't, because we use all of their options. And so we created email for all the different people that wanted to sign up, and I have all their passwords. And I would send them the card, and then I would go with them and show them, hey, this is your email here. I sent you the card, and now we will check it out. But it's all on my computer, because they don't, not all of them, but some of them, most of them don't have an email on their phone. They do have really good phones, but that's just not part of their life. And so we were just today, again, I checked a girl out like that. And I said, do you have a credit card? And some of them don't even have a credit card. So then we have to find a way, who has a credit card, who can pay this for you, how can we do this so that I can sign them up. Some people ask me if they can pay me in chunks, like if they can pay me cash for it. And I said, no, that's not possible. And I haven't figured that out yet, how I can do that. Because I don't think it's possible. So some people couldn't sign up because they wanted to pay cash, and that wasn't possible. However, that's how I sign people up, and I still do. It's a very, very different process of signing people up. I cannot just share a card and then I check on, okay, when are they going to sign up? I have to share the card, and I have to call them. Hey, when will you have time that we can meet so we can check out together? And then that takes time until we then actually meet and we check out together. So it's a whole process until the people are actually part of it. And then it's a whole other process to get them connected to the Beachbody app, because they have some app on their phone, but those apps are for the kids. They play the games on their phone, the kids. They don't know, some of them don't know how to download an app, and then they want to download it, and then their password doesn't work because it's not connected to their thumb, or however this is called. So it's a whole process. But I really, really enjoy the process, because each time I meet with somebody, either for a sign up or to explain the program, it gives me a place to connect with them and to connect with them in person. And that is something I really, really enjoy. I will never stress about, or it will never feel like work when I have to go and do these things extra. I do them over the weekend, because right now I don't work as a mental health therapist, but till May, I was working 3/4 of my time as a mental health therapist, and the other time I used for my ministry. So there was not that much time for me to actually meet with them. But right now I do have more time. And so, but however, all the times that I meet and I get together with them, that's when I check off the boxes of my business tracker. Some of you guys are really good in doing that over Instagram, and you send out all those messages, and you talk to three people about coaching, to 3 people about being part of your challenge group, and that's really good. So keep doing what you're doing. But oftentimes that's what I do in person. I have, for every week, I have signed up 3 people that I talk about coaching, and 3 people I talk about challenge groups, but they are always in person. Like tonight, after this team call, I'll go and talk to a girl about coaching. And the reason why I will go to her is because she lives in a very small space, and she's not sure if she can do the workouts in a small space. So I will go to her house, I will check out her space. I am dressed in workout clothes, and we might do a workout together, and just to see, can she do this? Is this something she can do? And the reason why I do that, yes, I really, really love it. I just really enjoy it. But I also want to do my part on giving the people the feeling that I will do everything I can to help you to be part of it. Because for me, it's really important that you reach your fitness goals, and that you are part of a community that will help you to grow, not only physically, but spiritually and mentally. So alongside with that, am I talking too fast? Please just raise your hand, whoever. Okay, Caroline says I'm good. So alongside with that, my groups are in Spanish, and I also have an English group, but that's a smaller group. My main group is in Spanish. So every time Caroline posts something or provides some type of information or says some amazing things on the team call, I always have to translate it. So I spend a lot of time during team call. I'm almost always writing when she says some things I really want to communicate to my people. And then I have to translate and give it to and bring it to them. So my team calls, they happen in person actually, and they are really cool. You should be part of it. But they are in Spanish, and they are in a very very different language. I explain things very differently. So my coaches, the people that have signed up as a coaches, they're still very scared to do something further with it. So I am in this moment in time, I'm in the process of building trusting relationships and helping them to believe in themselves. Because how many of us, and even just myself, we sit back and we wait because we are so freaking scared to do that first step, because what if we fail? And I'm actually going to talk about that in a little bit later. But I hope that with what I said so far, I was able to give you a little background on how how I have done things and how I have come to Diamond. So this is then how I came to Diamond. How I came to Diamond fairly quickly, because once I decided, okay, I wanted to do this, because when I first re-signed up and with Caroline, I did not know it's Emerald. I didn't know there was something like Diamond. I didn't even know that we would get paid, like how we get paid. I didn't know much. So my first team calls, I was so overwhelmed. I remember I was going off on the team calls just with all the things I had to do, and I'm like, how am I going to do this? Like, first of all, I don't understand maybe a quarter of what the people are talking about, and then how am I going to actually do a business with this and actually make money with this? And so and I actually, one time I was so overwhelmed that I was going to have a team call, and I left my office, like my therapy office, and I was running, and I got a what's when the police stops you, what's that called, whatever. So I got a ticket. That's what it's called. I got a ticket, and I am a person that does not like tickets. Like, I will not give money to the police, but I was so overwhelmed that I had to be on time for a team call and blah blah blah. And so I got a ticket. So much to say, team calls are really important. I'm not overwhelmed anymore. I actually enjoy them. I can take them in, but that wouldn't have happened if I would have missed team calls over and over again. And I try to not miss team calls because they are really important to me. So what are other things that I do to keep my diamond status? Because once you are diamond, that's all amazing, but then you need to actually keep it. You need to keep it for 6 weeks in order to be a lifetime diamond coach. So a few things that I do, I work out with my ladies. I work out with my ladies 6 times a week. Well, that's wrong. So they have the opportunity to work out 6 times a week, and I will for sure be with them 3 to 4 times a week. So I have a little place that I was able to get for free, where I get the ladies all in the room. We have a TV, we connect the workouts to the TV, and I will be with them on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and Monday or Friday, one of those days, and they are workout all the other days. Other than that, I do the same thing that all of you guys do, the challenge tracker, devotionals, all the things that you guys provide for them probably. And then I also give freebies. And so my freebies are, I actually give free signups. So, and this is something Daniel and I started not that long ago. We decided to, there were especially two, so far in this whole time I have been in the business, I have 2 ladies that I have given the first sign up completely free. They were ladies that had really a huge desire to do something with their health, and I could physically see that they would really benefit from it, but there was just no way they were able to pay it. Like, they were single moms, they have lots of kids, and it was just not going to be possible. And it just really, really touched my heart. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, these ladies, their lives might be transformed through this, but they cannot sign up because they don't have the money. And I'm not swimming in money either. And so I just prayed about it and just waited. I'm like, okay, Lord, what is it that you want me to do with this? Because I feel really touched by these ladies. And so that was a process. And then until Daniel and I decided we were going to have a certain amount of money that we were going to lay aside every month. And if we had somebody that would qualify for what we thought would benefit from a free sign up, we would sign them up for free, not just for the $40 like workouts, for the whole thing. So the way how we do it is they sign up with their credit card because they need to sign up with their card, but we pay them the whole amount back. And because it's all in person, I can right there pay them the whole amount back. And so these 6 months or 3 months, I don't know how long it's been, since I have been working the business, 2 people have gotten free signups. And that's something people know that is now happening. But you have to meet the qualifications. The qualifications are that you really are not able to sign up for it. You have to be committed to the workouts, and you have to do the workouts every day. You have to show up on the challenge tracker, and you have to be in the program for 3 months. And so in order for them to be part of the program for 3 months means they will actually be able to show results if they actually commit to it, because the first month is the most important month often, where we actually decide whether or not we want to commit. And then if they are 2 months more, they will actually show results. And so if people who are part of our groups show results, that speaks to other people, and more people are going to want to be part of it. And yes, so the second and third month I am not paying. So they know that the second and third month they will be paying, but I pay for the first month. And I don't know how long I will be doing that. I don't know. That's something I'm doing right now. So this is as much as I wanted to talk about me. Unless you have some questions, please unmute yourself and tell me. And so now I wanted to make a switch to anyone here that's like, okay, Rose, this is all great and amazing, but I don't lead a women's ministry and I don't speak Spanish and so I do my business over Instagram. How can you make this personal for me? So how can you find your sweet spot? Because the thing is, we all have a sweet spot. We all do something. We all have something that we excel in. We naturally excel in. So when I do these relationships with the people in person, it does not stress me. I don't have to do much about it. They just flow. I meet with them and we talk about it and it flows. It flows naturally. But you ask me to have a conversation over Messenger on Instagram, it's way more difficult for me because I cannot see the person. I cannot feel the person. I don't know, like, are we communicating? Are we connecting? Like, am I totally off? Where are we at? Like, you ask other girls about that. Like, Courtney had did a call on that, and she gave lots of really good examples on how she did that. And if you are new, you should check out that recording. So there are 3 things that are really important when you want to know what your sweet spot is. You need passion for what you're doing. You need talent. And sometimes you also need some money. And I think all of us, when we decided that we are passionate about health and fitness, and about bringing women in and connecting women with health and fitness, we are all passionate about that, because otherwise we wouldn't be here, right? I think we can all agree on that. And we all paid some money. So we all signed up with Caroline or Erin or Courtney or Shay, whoever you're with. We all signed up. We all paid some money when we first came in. And we maybe also all are very decided that we really want to succeed as coaches. And we all have some talents, but we don't have all the same talents. And that is really cool. Because guess what, girls? If we would be all like Caroline, or if we would be all like Jessica, or if we would be all like Erin, I mean, then we would have an Instagram with all the same people doing the same stuff. And then if other people would want to come and choose to be with one of us, they would just look and they would see everything is the same. So which one am I going to then choose? And then maybe they choose none of us. Which is why it's so important that each one of us, that we know, what is this one thing I excel in? What is this one thing I do really, really good at? I am really good at. And to be consistent in that. So one of the things, for example, and I take Caroline as an example. One of the things, for example, Caroline does really, really well. She is really well and really consistent in her posting and her time. The times when she posted is very, very consistent. And the things she posts about, she's also very consistent. So somebody who has followed it for a decade like I have, I know what time she'll be posting. And if she doesn't post, I have texted her and I said, hey, Caroline, everything okay? I didn't see a post about you, like, you're alive, because I'm one of those who's waiting for her to post, and I know what time she'll be posting. And so there are people right now that are following you, that are looking at you, and they know exactly what you do. They know the times you are posting. They know the times you are working out. They know the times you're drinking your shakes. They know the times you are walking with your kids in the park. They know the times you go to the bank almost. They know because they are following you and they are observing you. And there are things you are doing on a daily basis that may seem very insignificant for you, but they are a huge thing for somebody else. I, for example, love it when Caroline posts about her walk with her little daughter. And sometimes she posts it and she says, another walk with little E. But for me, it's a huge thing. I love to see that. And I know she does it on a regular basis. And actually, because I have started to walk with Daniel on a regular basis years ago. And there are other people that are doing that with you. So what is this one thing that you do on a regular basis that you actually enjoy? Because working in your sweet spot, there are three things. The other three things, like under these that you need passion, talent, and money, there are three things for you to decide which is your sweet spot. So it's going to be something that you are drawn to. It's going to be something when you think about Beachbody business that you're like, yeah, this is the way how I want to do it. Or here is where I feel like I'm really good at it. Or this is when I feel really fulfilled. Second, it's something where people will comment on a lot. People will either say, either it's going to be on your stories, or it's going to be on your posts, or it's going to be on your conversations. People will just flow as you do the conversations, or it's going to be when you offer it them in person, like it is in my case. But it's going to be something that you will do and people will say, oh my gosh, I needed to hear this. Like people say that in other people's comments, other people's posts all the time. And I'm posting, I'm like, when is somebody going to say they needed to hear this today? And nobody needs to hear what I say. But that's okay. But I know when I talk to somebody in person, I hear that a lot. But other people hear that on their comments, on their posts on Instagram. So that's the second. Something that other people will say you are good at. And the third is something that you do where you are in your work zone and time flies by and you don't even realize that you are working. Be it writing a post, be it working out, be it doing a story, be it on a call with your coaches, be it on a call with your challengers, be it reaching out to somebody in person, something that you do and time just flies by, just comes so naturally to you. For example, I think I said earlier to you that Courtney is really good in having these conversations online with the people with the messenger and with messages. She excels in it. I have had conversations with her and it just flows. And for example, Erin, she's really good in having really creative idea and have to bring people in. Like I am with her in a separately message group, which by the way, Caroline posted today how you can be part of that group and the Fit for Story Sisters page. And she has some really, really cool ideas. And she is like almost every week she comes up with some new cool ideas. And I'm like, what the heck? Like I'm over here and I didn't have those ideas. But that's her forte. That's where she excels in. She has really good ideas. She knows how to bring them forward and to do something with it. That may not be mine, but that does not mean that I am not going to try. So what I want to say with that, while you are figuring out, or maybe you know already, what is your sweet spot and how can you draw people in, that does not mean that you are not going to try the other stuff. Because even though maybe posting on Instagram or having a conversation with people on Instagram may or may not be my forte, if I completely walk away from that, then I walk away from my future. I don't know where my future lies. Right now, I'm working with the people in the ministry. Right now, that's where my people come from. And maybe that's where they will come from for my entire life. But what if not? And if I haven't built other relationships, then I am hanging in the dark. So as you build your business, what I want to say to you about that, as you build your business, don't focus just on Instagram. Instagram is just one world. Caroline often says, what if Instagram goes away today? Does your entire Beachbody business fall apart if Instagram goes away? Have you built other relationships with people in your life where you can go to and invite them and be part of this? Maybe you have. And if you don't, then it might be a really good time to start. When we think about inviting, and when we think about inviting people, be it on Instagram or be it people in person, maybe you're not, but some of us are really afraid of failure. We are freaking scared. What if somebody is going to say something about us? I'm going to fail. They're not going to like me. They're not going to want to be part of it. And I'm going to be standing there as the whole dummy that doesn't know anything and blah, blah, blah. So listen, fear of failure. We all have that. So let's just make that clear. Caroline has it too. She has certain fears that she is afraid that she is going to fail. I have them and you have them. Some of us have them stronger than others, but we all have them. But do you know that that there is no fear that's actually justified? There is no fear that you are having right now why you may or may not have hit Success Club yet that's actually justified. Fear does not come from God. When God called you to do this business, he did not say, Rose, and be filled with fear. That's the enemy. That's the enemy that every time when we want to do something, when we want to invite somebody, when we want to post to something, or we're going to talk about something in our stories and we are sweating and our hands are sweating and all the other places in our body are sweating too, that's anxiety. And that's the enemy hindering you to actually fulfilling the call that the Lord has placed on your life. Because failure, you failing in something, does not mean you are a failure. You failing in something means you tried. And that's important. Because if I stop trying what's not working right now, that's when I'm failing. Because then I decide I am quitting and I am done. I'm done with this Beachbody. When I was on vacation in July for 3 weeks on vacation with my parents. It was a very intense time over there. And I came back and I wasn't able to access my coach office and some things had happened and I lost my diamond status. And I was really bummed about that. I'm like, hey, Lord, like I'm going back. I'm trying to have a good time and I'm losing the status. Like this is no bueno. And then the whole process of building it up, I wanted to build it up as quickly as possible, was a little bit difficult. And so I had just had one thing after another coming up, even in my personal life, that all could give me signs of me deciding I'm done with this. Like, Beachbody, you were amazing, good, yes, amen, and I'm going. But if I would have done that, that was the moment when I was going to decide that I was going to fail. The reason that I lost my diamond status for a week did not mean I was a failure. That just meant something hadn't worked out well. And I think if we can make that shift in our mind of deciding when we are a failure and when we are not, will help us to actually make that bridge to build our business on a greater level. Because if we are sitting back and being fearful of making that first conversation, inviting people in, nothing is going to move. Caroline uses often the phrase, do what moves the needle. I think I say that right. And so when she says, do what moves the needle in your business, she is not talking about building an email list. She is not talking about saving money to buying the most prettiest presets so that you have for your Instagram. She is not talking about sitting for hours and hours and writing this most amazing post that you maybe get 10 likes on. She is talking about talking to other people what you are doing and inviting them into the process what you are doing. That's all. That's what moves the needle. And that's not that difficult. We just have to get over our fear. What if they reject me? Well, what if? Let them reject you. They are missing out. You are not, because you have the whole Beachbody community. If they say no, they are the ones who are missing out. And I know if we cannot make that shift, nothing is going to change. And that shift, only you can make, you with the Lord. To sit down and to say, Lord, what is it? What is the shift that I am needing in my mind so that I can hit Success Club month after month, month after month? What is it that I need to do differently so that I can get it? Because there are people out there, ladies, for each one of you that are waiting so that you can hit Success Club. And the reason why you're not hitting Success Club yet is because something is missing. And I know that I'm speaking for myself too. The times when I'm not hitting Success Club is because something I am missing. Rick Warren I'm a really huge fan of Rick Warren, Pastor Rick Warren. And he has a really good phrase where he says, when you are not using your talents to bless others, you are cheating on other people. If you are not using your talents to bless others, you are cheating on other people. Ladies, there is something you excel in. And if you don't take the time to find out what is it that you excel in, use it, you are cheating on your followers. You are cheating on the Fit for His Glory Sisters team. I am cheating when I am doing that. I am not doing what I was called to do if I'm not consistently working in my sweet spot. Sorry, am I back? My bent low battery. Because I don't know how much time I have. Because one day we will all stand in front of Jesus. And Jesus is not going to ask you or me, Rose, why didn't you beach body like Caroline did it? Rose, why didn't you do beach body like so-and-so did it? Jesus is going to ask me, Rose, why didn't you use your talents that I gave you? Why didn't you use them the way how I had designed for you to use them? And what am I going to say? If I spent month after month watching other people succeeding, doing the stuff they're doing, while I'm trying to do exactly what they are doing, but I'm not going one step further, I'm not going to have nothing to say to Jesus. Sometimes when we invite other people in, and we are afraid to invite other people in, and we don't want to be salesy, and we don't want to be all those things. That's one way how we can look at it, that we are salesy and all of that. But the way how I look at it is, if somebody in your family had cancer, my dad had cancer. He almost passed away in cancer a few years ago. And if you would have that pill, that magical pill that someone in your family could take so that they would not have cancer anymore, wouldn't you tell everybody about that pill? Because I would, because I almost lost my dad, and I want nobody to lose a family member on cancer. Beachbody is the same. What Beachbody has done to people, the workouts, the community, the relationships that they build with Jesus, is transforming lives. And when I see a woman who is struggling with their weight, who is struggling with accepting how she has been made in the eyes of God, I'm thinking about that pill. This woman, she needs to hear about what I have to offer in the groups. And it's not about the work I do, it's about the work that Jesus does through the groups. And it's about the work that Jesus does through each one of your groups. If we keep a mindset of being salesy, of being a failure, nothing will change. We will have month after month where we will watch other people hit Success Club. But if we change our mindset and we find out what is it that I excel in, and we keep practicing what I excel in, you will hit Success Club. And naturally, I love to observe, and I observe lots of you, just FYI. And if you feel comfortable with me observing what you do online, and I don't know you in person, but if you feel comfortable with me observing you online and helping you to find out what is it that you do really well online, I'd love to help you with that. Maybe your sweet spot isn't online. Maybe your sweet spot is in person. But if there is something that you do online that you excel very well in, I'd love to help you with that. And I am at the end of my notes. And I don't know if anybody has any questions that you would like me to answer. I don't know where we are at the time. Oh, we're almost at an hour. Gosh, Rose.
No, this has been amazing, Rose. Like, I've literally have like 5 pages of notes. I'm not even kidding. So good. Anybody want to unmute themselves and ask Rose a question? So good. I just feel like this is incredible, Rose. Seriously.
Hey, Rose.
Oh, hey.
Hey, buddy. I'm hoping to host my first. Well, no, I'm not hoping. I am hosting my first Jesus Sweat Coffee at my house this weekend, Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah. So, do you have any? Okay, sorry, my son is wrapped in my headphones. Do you have any tips that you would say like could help that be really successful as far as like, since you're so experienced with in-person stuff, like what? I don't have a very big guest list. Obviously, everyone's still very tentative to kind of put themselves out there by showing up. So it's another focus I have this week, aside from obviously inviting to everything else, is just really inviting to that without, just with no pressure, because I want it to be a no pressure and just like a value add. So anyways, any tips?
I think, first of all, I think it's amazing that you do that and that you put yourself out there and that you invite people into your home and just have them in your space. I think that's first of all, that's amazing. And any tips that I could give you, just be yourself. Be the most yourself that you can be, because that's the person that people will fall in love with. And no matter, don't be afraid, don't be scared, or don't be discouraged if only one person shows up. Do the same thing that you would do for one person that you would do for 10 or 50. Because if we look at it spiritually, if only you would have been on this world, Jesus would have come to this world to save only you. He would have done all of that just for you. And so when you host this event, is it one person? Is it 10 or is it 50? Do the same thing. Be the same excited, and don't be discouraged whatever number you have, because you never know if it's one or two people. Those might be your most amazing coaches. And so if they get this genuine feeling from you that you are excited about them, that you love them, and that you want to connect with them, you will flow just fine. Another thing that I find with people in general very good is that they love to talk about themselves. In general, people love to talk about themselves. They love to share. So the more questions you ask them just about their life and anything that interests you will help you to build a relationship, will help you to connect, and will help you especially to build rapport and trust. And the more trust and rapport you have with somebody, the more they will come back to you and build something with you, want to build something with you. I don't know if it answers your question. Okay.
I think too, that's like in general, like with, you said, asking people about themselves, and even like doing for one what we would do for 15 or 100. I think that's also true online, like even with Instagram messaging and things like that, like, I don't know, just when we're building relationships with people in general, like always making it about them,
Yes, totally.
Hi, Rose. It's Carly. Can I ask you, when you started building personal relationships with your clients from the beginning, how long do you wait before making the bridge from a personal relationship into telling them that you are selling a product?
How long do I wait to invite them into what I'm doing?
Yes.
Okay. It depends on the relationship. It depends on how the relationship goes, and it depends on why I got together with them. But because for some of them, if I say, hey, do you have time to just have a cup of coffee? And I just meet with them for a cup of coffee, and the entire conversation is just about them and whatever they are doing. I'm just listening to them, and I'm just building that relationship. And if there is no moment for me to hop in and to say something about what I'm doing, sometimes I won't say something. However, I always go in workout clothes, and I always go have my shake with me or have something with me that indicates that I am doing something else or I'm coming from something else. So that instantly will give me a opportunity to talk about it. Because if you are in workout clothes, they might ask you, hey, are you just coming from the gym? Yeah, I actually just whatever you just did. Training the girls, or you are going to train girls, or whatever it is. And so I find it very easy to do it in person, because I can read the person's body language, eyes. I can see what the person is doing, and I just go with the flow. That's what's more difficult for me on message, because I don't have the person in front of me. And that's something I need to grow with.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
So just like you're welcome. So just like you in message, you wait for that moment. In person, I actually think it's easier as you can observe them.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else have a question for Rose?
I'll say one thing. I get so nervous if someone is like, "Oh, I love what you're doing," because there are people that I like. I maybe texted Erin about this. People that I like admire in real life, like in motherhood and in their marriages, and they're like, "Oh wow, like I've been inspired." Like one of my like friends, I guess, even said like, "I'm really inspired by you've been waking up. I've been waking up early and doing devotional." She's like, "I'm not working out, but I." Anyway, so they were complimenting me, and I totally froze up. Like I was so nervous by it, I started to like sweat instantly. Yeah, I guess like that is that fear. So I know that's like the perfect opportunity to start to share, but I need to get the words out. Like I need to have like a go-to starting kind of sentence maybe. Over there by the water bottle. I don't know. When you're like kind of a little bit frozen in that moment that you're not, and it wasn't like it was really, she brought it up in the group setting and I wasn't expecting it. So I don't know. Do you have something that you would say starting a conversation off with easily when you're feeling like you're really frozen, like a go-to sort of, I don't know,
Yeah.
I'm coming across very adequately.
Yeah. Yeah, I would even for yourself, and you have those moments where she said something amazing to you and you froze up. I would encourage you to go home and to even just analyze for yourself, why did I freeze up in that moment? What triggered what she said that I froze up? And whatever that is that happened inside yourself, like, do I not believe what she said? Do I not believe that I look amazing? Do I not believe I do amazing things? Or anything any disbelief you have about yourself, if you can figure that out for yourself and you just get it out of the door, because if that happened now, it might happen more times when you get into those conversations. And so that's one thing. The other thing is, Jenna Kutcher talks about this in one of her podcasts about getting your story right, like getting a mission. I don't even know how she says it, but she has this sentence of that often people ask us what we do, and then we want to try to tell them what we do, and we're like, be health and fitness woman, and we don't even know. We know exactly what we do, but somebody asked us, and we don't know how to bring it over. And so my mirror is my most amazing friend. In front of my mirror, I will practice. So if I go to somebody that I don't have such a close relationship with, that doesn't bring anxiety in me, what if she doesn't like what I do? I will practice in front of the mirror just to make my mission statement clear. What am I doing? And to feel really confident with it and to believe in it myself. And so the more you practice that for yourself and you go with that over there, probably nothing is going to go the way how you have planned it before, but at least you and yourself know that you exactly know what you're doing. And sometimes in the beginning, I would just tell random people what I'm doing just to practice.
I like that. Yeah, I think if someone, I like the idea of everybody's like, oh, wear your workout clothes and talk to, or like bring, sort of then use that as like a segue for strangers. And I'm like, yeah, I could totally do that. Like people, oh, coming from the gym, people ask that all the time. Like people start casual conversation all the time. And that's really good practice, even if it's someone completely random that know you're not going to maybe make that true connection with.
For example, I went to a dentist appointment last week and I was wearing workout clothes, and I did it on purpose because it was a new office I was going to, and I thought maybe I meet somebody. And so yes, in fact I did. So the person that prepared me for the whole thing there, she saw I had workout clothes on. She started asking me, and we exchanged numbers, and I don't know, who knows if something happens, but just because I wore workout clothes, we started a conversation.
One thing I was going to say too, really quick, and Jessica put this in the comment box, but I said this to her last week. So at the end of last year, Ty, I was having I was going through a pruning process, And in January of this year, I just asked God, I was like, Lord, like, I just don't want to be such a people pleaser, because my problem is like, I would put people on a pedestal in a way, like, especially at my church. Like, if it was like our women's minister, or if it was like our pastor's daughter-in-law, or like just people who were in like really involved in the church. And like, I kind of like, when they would say something, if it was, even if it negative or positive, it would kind of, if it was positive, it would go to my head. And if it was negative, it would really hurt me. Like, it would make me question my calling and all of these things. And what I realized is that at the end of the day, I was making it about them and pleasing them instead of honoring the Lord. And so I just asked the Lord, I was like, I need you to strip me of this. And in that month, I literally had 4 situations where all these people said negative things about me and said, like, I was using Jesus as a marketing tool to sell Beachbody products, and like just really hurtful things that really, really hurt. And like, I'm super involved in my church, and like, I've gone there literally my whole life. So those things like really, really hurt. And it's funny because it was like a 3-month process, and nothing ever happened. It was word of mouth how I heard about it. It was like they were just gossiping, and then I heard someone told me what they had said. So, but long story short, every single one of those people, like, I just decided to continue to be kind to, and when I saw them, like, just be really sweet. And all of them, except for one, but he was a dude, so who cares about that? They like reached out to me over the past like month or two and apologized to me, and was just like, you know, like, I got frustrated because like, I haven't even sat down with you and had coffee and explained my heart to you. You don't even know anything about what I do, like nothing. And what I realized is, like, number one, it was some of their own insecurities. And they saw me like waking up and doing all these things, and they thought like it was just an insecurity they had. And number two, though, what I really realized is that ultimately it doesn't matter if it's their insecurities or what or not, or if they think those things about me. There's always going to be people who don't know what they don't know. And that's what Michelle told me, because I reached out to her and I was really hurt about it. And she was like, Caroline, like, people don't know what they don't know. So they haven't sat down with you. They don't know your heart. They don't know anything about what you do. Like, they've never been in a challenge group. They literally know nothing. And so it's like what she said to me was like, if you choose to back down from what you know God's called you to do, then you're basically choosing like them and their opinion over what God has called you to do. And, you know, your why, which one of my big whys was that I've been working this business for so long because one reason is to be able to stay home with my kids. And so for me, it's like, okay, I'm basically choosing what this silly person thinks about me that's not even true over what I know is truth from the Lord, and the fact that I could one day stay home with my kids. So I'm literally choosing these people over what God's called me to do, and potentially being able to be at home with my children, like over something silly. And so I think, like, even in those moments, just reminding yourself of that, of like not putting people on pedestals, because people, it doesn't matter who it is. I don't care if it's Beth Moore, like, she's got flaws too. And all of us do. And so, you know what I mean? Like, I think sometimes, like, we think in our head, oh, well, I have all of these things about me that are horrible, or this or that, or I need to be better in. But, you know, and we put other people on pedestals in certain areas of their life. But, like, maybe that's just the one thing they're good at, but maybe you're good at something different. Does it make sense what I'm saying? So I think, too, just like kind of taking people down a notch, and remember that we're all in this together, and we all have junk in the trunk, so to speak. I don't care who it is. And but God's called us to do this for his glory, and he's called them into ministry too. And so being confident in that calling, you know, and what God's called us to do. Does anybody else have any questions for Rose? Rose, thank you so much again. This was so awesome. Yes, exactly. Thank you so much, Rose. This was so good. And thank you guys all for being on tonight. Rose, do you want to say a quick little prayer just over everybody, and then we can all hop off here?
Lord Jesus, I thank you just for this evening. And just thank you for every woman that's on here, that's listening to this right now. And I thank you for every woman that will listen to this later. And Lord, I know that you have made each one of us uniquely, and you have put unique parts and unique stuff and unique things in each one of us. And Lord, I just pray as we walk away that each one of us may walk away encouraged. Lord, maybe some of us are still struggling in finding our sweet spot. And I just pray that your Holy Spirit would walk with them step by step and guiding them, showing them where they need to go, what they need to think about, what they need to do, and what the next steps are. Lord, I pray against the enemy who's going to try to discourage the ladies as they get off the call, that he was going to try, the ladies are going to feel overwhelmed and are going to feel that they don't want to do anything anymore. And I just pray against that, Lord. I pray that the enemy has no room in the Fit for His Glory Sisters team, and that you are the one who is reigning, and that you are the one who's going to walk through this group, and you will be glorified for all the things that we do. And Lord, I just pray that we would all have open eyes and open eyes and open ears to reach out to those that are waiting for us to reach out. Lord, I pray that your Holy Spirit would show us those people, and that we would be obedient to follow your call. Lord, I just thank you for the amazing harvest that's about to come. I thank you for all the amazing ladies that are going to be on this call in the future. And I just thank you for the amazing things that you will do through this ministry that started because someone was obedient. Someone was obedient to your calling. And Lord, I thank you and I praise you for tonight. And I just pray for your blessing over each one of these ladies as we walk away. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, everyone.